Hi, my name is Hannah Adams. I'm a junior at Iowa State studying elementary education with endorsements in English language learners and reading. I'm originally from Minnesota and I am involved with the sorority Alpha Chi Omega as well as I served on Cyclone Alley Central's marketing team the past 2 years. I love being super involved and I also have taken on advocating for sexual assault awareness and really pushing that and making sure the awareness has been not only at Iowa State but also with the rest of the world. The first night of college, technically, or drinking. So I had a friend from home that also went to Iowa State, and I didn't really know anybody else. And so I was drunk and lost all my friends, and I called him, and he came and got me. And then fast forward, he ended up taking advantage of me in a really drunken state, and like that was the farthest I've ever gone personally. And so it was kind of just set the tone for boys in general. And it just kind of like told me that, it doesn't mean anything, like sex, like kissing, nothing, like none of it really has a meaning behind it. So throughout my college experience, that has really been my narrative is sex means nothing. None of it matters. Like it's like a handshake, it just feels good and you just move on to the next time because I was never really treated with a lot of respect with like the hookup culture. It's not a very respectful culture in general. And then there were just times when I had said that I didn't want to or no, and it just kind of happened anyways. Either it was me giving in or just like me being too drunk to care really about it. And so then August of 2017, August 31st, I believe, there was a man on my floor and he was very intoxicated, stumbling around, just like really wasn't okay. And so I let him into my apartment to try to give him water and see if he knew where he was because he said he didn't go there. He seemed like a nice guy and everything was fine until he started like touching me and grabbing at me and trying to pull me onto my bed. And I realized that it wasn't a safe situation anymore. So I tried to get him out of my apartment and I got him to the door and then he grabbed my phone and ran and wasn't stumbling around anymore. But so I chased him down the stairs because my phone had a ton of pictures of my best friend that passed away in May and then my grandpa who also passed away in August. So I like really wanted my phone because I didn't have any of the pictures backed up, of course. And we were outside in the corner of my building and it was about 1:30 a.m. at this point and I was crying and I was asking for my phone back. I told him, I was like, please, I will do anything. I won't tell the cops. Like, please just give me my phone. And fast forward, he like forced me to perform oral on him to get my phone back until I finally was like, I'm going to get a cop. This is not okay. And then he started running and said he dropped my phone. And he didn't drop my phone. It was just a way for me to not chase him. So, yeah. It definitely was not my first sexual assault, but it was the assault that kind of changed everything because cops were involved. So I was just kind of forced to realize that this was very real. And previously to my assault, there had been many moments in my life, in my college career, with men that completely took advantage of me. And I had just been so broken down, especially from my first experience at college, that I just didn't really know a difference of like what really consent was. My assault in August really led the way and it made me realize that it's not just a like black and white issue and it happens a lot and a lot of times it is so heavily like like forced or just okayed in our culture that it's like situations that are not even kind of okay are okay, which is a lot of what the hookup culture is. So that is a big reason as to why I advocate for it. I have really taken advocacy the social media route. I retweet a lot of things, make stories that aren't talked about a lot, more talked about. I try to support women in my chapter with talking about a Facebook group that I'm a part of for survivors. I personally share my story and try to promote sexual assault advocacy so women know that they can come to me. And I post on Facebook and I put my opinion on it. I really just try to bring awareness by filling up people's timelines with sexual assault awareness, because if it's not talked about, then nothing will change. I grew up believing that sexual assault in unconscious ways, like, you could make sure that it didn't happen to you and like you can prevent it and that it was preventative, which is not true at all. I knew that it wasn't my fault, but in previous assaults I just kind of let it slide. I was like, oh well, you got this drunk, like you didn't like disagree that much. And so just know that you are not at fault and you're not alone, and this happens far too often. But just seek help, because there's a lot of people that are willing to help you. There's so many people that will be willing to give you a hand if you feel like you don't have one. And I wish I would have taken that advice and not thought that I was better than it and that I could just handle everything on my own, because it's such a traumatic experience that you can't handle it on your own. Also, healing, it doesn't have a time expiration date on it. I was fine the first month or two, and then I just wasn't. This semester was a lot harder than last semester. It's okay to not be okay for more than a week or a month. Only you can really decide when you are healed, and honestly, a lot of people will never truly heal from it. So just give yourself a break.